Hello folks, Reloading Bench back with you once again. And based upon what's on the reloading bench, you might be able to guess what this video is about. But what I'm going to start with on this box, this mail call box, this small box that is, what, 4x4? Let's see how, yes, 4x4x4x4. Well, this little tiny box had this 15-inch label wrapped around it. And I had to show that because I've never seen a label that big for such a small, tiny box. And this box caught me off guard. I was surprised because I ordered it so long ago that I forgot about it. And it relates to some of the metalworking stuff I've done in the past and some things I found out that I decided to go down this particular path. And when I shook this, when it first came, I'm like, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a liquid sound. And I'm like, what the heck is in here? And what the heck is in here is Dykem blue layout fluid. And I thought I could get away with not going down the Dykem path. And for my lathe, my mini lathe, I was semi-successful because when I'm locking something into the lathe, where's a round object? When I'm locking something into the lathe, I'm generally not touching it, once I put it in the jaws. So marking a particular, turning it and marking a particular area, whether that's a black Sharpie or to my own little version of Dykem with a blue marker, permanent marker that I picked up at the dollar store for $1.25. Think about what I just said there. I picked it up at the dollar store for $1.25. So this was fine on the lathe because, spinning, I could tap it and, it would give me my blue marking, and then I could scribe and I would see very clearly, kind of like, I could see a scribe line very clearly. My recent aluminum work, I was debating what I would use. And on aluminum, if I use permanent marker, regardless of color, if I'm touching it, by the time I'm done touching it, it's all over my hands and it's no longer on the aluminum. So this worked okay for the lathe. But for other metal work, like on the mill, the mini mill, that I learned in class, in my machining class, this is the way to go with Dykem, because this doesn't come off, as easy as this stuff. In fact, let me grab a piece of aluminium, just to show you the difference. All right, so here was a project. And I had written my name on it, so let's just put a little X. That was black marker. And again, if it's in the lathe and it's turning, that works fine because I'm not touching it. So we'll let that dry for a second or two. And then we'll get my grubby hands on it. And again, if this was a piece of, like I said, machining that I was doing in the mill where I'm touching it a lot, the potential for it to rub off, so the X is gone relatively quickly and on my hand, and the blue will do the same. Again, if I'm rubbing and I'm touching, it looks like the blue's a little more resilient, still all over my hand. Let me throw a little spit up in there. So again, if I'm touching and constantly, adjusting or whatever, it's not very permanent. And, that's both a good thing and a bad thing because you don't want this on here forever. And I think the easiest way to get that off. And Dykem's a little harder to get off, a little more permanent. I think Acetone will probably take it off. There's probably somebody that'll tell me, no, don't do that. All right, so you would never know that my X or my blue was on there. All gone. Way too easy. Whereas, let's see, with Dykem, this just happens to be a heavy coating of it. I don't know that this will take it off so easily. Yeah. It'll come off on the cotton swab, but it's not coming off here as easy. So that was the reason, because of my recent aluminium work for my son's project, that I decided, you know what, it's time to invest in some Dykem so that I can get something a little more permanent, that if I'm working a piece of metal, I really don't want it to come off as easily as, you know, I was with, you know, when I was in class, I would write my name on my piece, set it aside, do some tinkering, whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, it's all gone. So Dykem for the win in terms of layout for my metals. That is it for tonight.